See, I got my couple behind us. See what I'm saying?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day. My name is Kenneth Ray Coleman Jr. Don't forget the Junior. And you are tuned in to the Let's Talk About It podcast. Happy New Year. Happy whatever needs to be said. We're in the middle of June, so we're still saying happy something. But we are back, and we are on episode number, I think I'm on episode number 7. Episode number 7. This one is entitled Love, Marriage, and Divorce. And we got a special guest on the line today. I've met her when I was 19 years old. So if that's the case, then we've been knowing each other for over 20 years. Because y'all let y'all do the math out there. But this is someone that I call, she has 2 titles, 2 positions in my life. I call her my godmother, but I will introduce to some and present to others my Miss Jan. Miss Jan, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Kenny? Or baby boy, as I should say.
You know, today has been a challenging day, but you know, we maintaining, getting through it. So we on the other side of it. So we good. We good. Thanks for asking. So
Yes.
I guess you want to just dive on into it, you know, or you want to ease on?
You know what? Come on. We've been at this for 20 years. When have we ever eased in? Let's just go. Let's go.
All right. So this is entitled Love, Marriage, and Divorce. If I could give a subtitle, I would say The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
So the first question is, how do you define love?
You know, it is the one gift that we all need, but we're not all available to receive.
Can you say that again? Hamburger.
I hope so. Well, you know, I'm 54. I hope I can remember it. It's the one gift. It's the one gift that we all need, but many of us are not available to receive it.
And you know, we doing the video, so we're gonna post this on YouTube. So if y'all see me typing, I had to take notes, you know, because that was one of them gems I need to, you know, go back on and let that marinate right there.
Okay, you all, I'm 54, so I hope I don't, I hope I look the part today. So
amazing like always.
Thank you.
So how would I define love? I define love, you know, the way the Bible says it, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, 4 through the 7th verse. But if I could give somebody something tangible to hold on to, I would say it's just a selfless act portrayed by selfish people. It's a selfless gift.
Mm-hmm.
It's a selfless gift given by people, like you said, that, you know, some are available and some are unavailable to give. But I think it's something that we all strive and want. But the question is, you know, how do we get there? How do we put ourselves in a position to be able to love?
You?
Say that again.
I think I lost you. Oh, I thought I lost you. I said, can we say it's a selfless gift that we give for selfish reasons to receive?
I like that. Let me take a note of that one also. I'll take a note on that one on the replay. That was a good one, though. So the next question is, has the way you looked and felt and define love, has it changed over the years?
You know, I think I wouldn't use the word, change means just what it is when you go from this to this, but I think it's deepened. It's gotten, I think I saw love surface as I've gotten older and have experienced love in both marriage and divorce. It has deepened. I have a deeper understanding for love because I respect love. So I think it's the changes that it's gotten deeper, or I have a deeper understanding of it, or a more clear understanding of it. or better understanding, maybe that's it, because I'm still here, so I'm still learning.
What would you say is a misconception about love, if any?
That it has to be accepted just because it's given. And we staying in this realm of what we're on, love, marriage, and divorce. So let's not, delve into the other elaboration, a quick one. We have a tendency to think just because someone says, I did this and I love you, that we have to receive that. And receiving means that we receive it under the same premise they gave it. I think instead of receiving it, we owe people just the respect for it. Oh, I respect that's what you did. I accept the fact that that's what you did it. But I think the misconception is that just because love is given, that we have to receive it. I think all we're required to do is respect it.
Mm, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, you dropping them gems. I kind of want to dive into that one, but I don't even know if I want to touch that one right now. Hamburger. A misconception about love. I think I'm still figuring this thing out, but I think the misconception is just because you have love, that does not mean it equals a relationship. I think too often we want to hold on to people that we love, or that we have this admiration for, and it's just sometimes the love can still be there, but the relationship is just ended. And I think we have to learn to be okay with letting go, being able to grow, change, etc.
I agree.
Would you say is it better to like someone or love someone?
I thought about that. And me and my friend, that's one of the things that we base our relationship on. And I thought about this today. Love is at its ripest form when it is the product of the like seed. So I
Right.
think when you plant the seed of like, love grows from that. The love in its most greatest form, because if nothing else, it takes you back to the like. You can build back from the like, because we take love for granted. And that's in all relationships, but in these very intimate relationships, because I chose to love you and you understand that I love you and you're my mate, you're my significant other, that I don't have to like you. I can be disrespectful to you. I can dismiss you. I can emasculate you. I can belittle and berate you, because I love you, but I'm not showing that I like you. And a lot of times that love gets put on that it's not an active emotion. All the other emotions, and then we default to, but because I love you, I didn't mean any harm, because I love you, because I love you. And so I think that it's important that like is that's the seed that you put in the ground. And then that growth, that tree that grows off the like bears the fruit of love.
Yeah, I think love is overrated at times. And
Ah, amen.
I think that sometimes we become complacent in the people that we love. We become just lackadaisical, or the routine. And I think in a perfect world, you would want somebody you would like to love the person that you're with or that you're around. You would like to love them, because
Yeah,
the way that we move for the people that we like versus the people that we love is two different ways. Like
it
if
is.
I like somebody, like when that phone ring, I'm finna go ahead and pick up, stop what I'm doing, whatever. But if
Yes.
it's somebody that I love, I'm taking for granted, or it's just that newness have wore off. I'm slow. My back hurting. I can't get to the phone.
Yes, that complacency. And we assume that in that loving that person, that they should making me be accountable for something that you're supposed to do. So a lot of times we do that with our significant others. Well, they know I'm supposed to. And love is action. So I think that if without like, I don't think love lingers long, or better yet, it's even right. I think it's still in its very infant state.
Let's dive into, I think we're going to come back to talk about love, and because they all kind of mirror each other, or they're intertwined all with each other. So let's go ahead and start talking about marriage. How do you define marriage, and what's your current views or view on marriage?
Well, I'm a twofer out here. So married young, very young, first time, 21, divorced at 26, married again at 29, divorced at 45. And in both of those, as I think about what marriage is, I saw it through my parents, but I didn't show up like that in those marriages. They were more titles than they were relationships. You know, I was Mrs. I want to be Miss. Or so I my views on marriage early on was, you know, being a part of something, to be a part of something. I didn't realize the work and the dedication and the commitment and the sacrifice that goes into it. So I have such a respect for that, which is, I think, the reasons why I'm not married again now, is because I want to already have all of those attributes in myself to give to another person before I make the commitment to be his Mrs. Because I find oftentimes that when you're trying to work out some of those things prior to the marriage, and then you get into the marriage and you don't have the understanding of what it means, you know, I know that's not how God ordained it. You know, he ordained the union, but the people in it, once God ordains the marriage, he needs to ordain the people in it, it's in it, and the choices that are made in it. And oftentimes we get so caught up in the wedding ceremony and we forget about what the marriage, meaning that commitment, that contract, that love contract. And then of course there's the financial contract and all the other, you know, parenting contract, housing contract. All of those are saying, I am going to do this, you're going to do this, and together we're going to, you know, create this end result. So I have a different view about marriage because I have much more respect for what it is to be married, to be someone's chosen person to share this life with. And so my views now are, I don't take it lightly. It's not something to play with at all.
Oh, man, it's such a loaded question. I guess I would say that I define marriage as a priceless but yet expensive gift that um, I don't people. It's a gift that people don't understand the responsibility that comes with it.
Right.
I
Because
think,
it doesn't come with the manual
yeah,
that everybody's willing to read all of it. You know what I'm saying? We'll get the front page of it and say, oh, this, we're not willing to reference back to the manual.
but I
We'll
think
just
we
think
we
what we
just
know.
yeah we just live in a society that we're just big on titles and positions, and we
Yes.
really don't care about the responsibility that comes with it. Like,
Responsibility.
I just
Absolutely.
want to look good. I want to show good. I want to be the Mrs. or the Mister or the husband or wife, you know. But
Right.
that responsibility that comes with marriage is something that I was ignorant to. You know, when I got married, I didn't know all the responsibilities that came with it. You know, I seen the glitz and the glamour from my parents, you know, doing it for 30 plus years coming up, January 26th, happy anniversary, early anniversary. Um,
Happy anniversary.
so I seen, you know, the glitz and glamour, but I didn't see the hard work that they put
And I'm
in.
gonna say the gloom, not making gloom be negative, but you know,
Yeah.
like it's there. It's a part of it. It really is. We all look at the cake, but nobody, like I said before, we don't go look at the kitchen and all the flour and all the melee to me. We only see the end result. And a lot of times we're not willing to put in the work, stand in the kitchen, wait on the stove, mix and stir and recipes and check this and check. So we just want the end result. And so often, um, the end result, a lot of times it doesn't taste like what you expected because you didn't know, we don't know what was put in it. You didn't put the work in. So you can't be responsible for the end results because you didn't put any work in it. So,
And I think that's why a lot of relationships don't and marriages don't work out is because, and that's the one instance of our relation of our life that we're waiting on the end result instead of the
yeah,
process. Because
yes,
we at work we had to go through the process. We can't skip steps. At school, we gotta can't skip processes. I mean, with your kids, you can't skip processes. So when you are in a romantic relationship, you want that end result and you want that gratitude or that satisfaction like ASAP. And I ain't willing to teach nobody. I ain't willing to learn certain things. I'm stuck in my ways. I want to do it my way. And we setting ourselves up for failure.
I think because it's interesting the way you worded that, because it's probably one of the one things that we do that what it is at the beginning. Okay, and what I mean by that, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a doctor, you have to go through school before you graduate. You got to do the process, then
Mm.
graduate. The graduation's on the back after the work. Marriage is one of the few things we do where the work is on the other side. So you're married as soon as you walk out of the room, walk out the hotel, walk out of the justice of the peace, walk out the church, you're married, solid. It is what it is. You are now married, done, past tense. But the work is on the other side of that. And I think, the way you worded that is so true. Everything else we do, it's a process, it's pre. Marriage is post. It's on
But
the other side.
and I like the way you put it, but I want to put a different spin on it. I think that's why a lot of marriages fail. It's because we're
Yes,
looking at the post work instead of the
post.
pre work. You know,
Yes,
if I'm whole going into something, it has a greater chance of working than me post doing it and then me coming to be a great husband. Like if I'm coming up at the wedding day already suited and booted, committed, ready to do what I need to do as a husband on that wedding day, it'll be easier than me transitioning just because I got this title and position.
right. You already need to be holding the position prior to the title.
Right,
But
right.
oftentimes we don't become that we don't live up to the title until we now hold the position. And it's interesting. No other job can you do that. Only other thing I can think of that is parenting, where you're like, oh, here's a baby. You're like, oh my God, what do I do with it? But every other job they ask you, so what are your credentials? Have you ever studied this? You got any on-job training? And I'm not going to say oftentimes, I'm going to say more often than not, we have no clue.
What did marriage teach you?
um, teach that accountability is necessary. You can't get around. There's no success in it, in you as a person, as you as a partner, without accountability, responsibility, and those are things that I thought I had because I was a mother first. So I felt I was accountable to a person and responsible for a person. But the difference is I was responsible for a person that had nothing to compare it to. Being, my son's mom, whatever mom did was right. But marriage taught me that this is a whole other being with already their own views and likes and dislikes and choices and sometimes you're fighting up against a no or a yes or I've never heard of or a maybe. So it taught me that we're different. I'm different. I'm everybody's not the same. Despite the fact we might want the same thing, we view it differently. So it really taught me to take inventory and realize that, I'm not all that I thought I was. And the other people that I picked weren't all that I thought they were.
Right.
It was superficial.
Right.
There was not a lot of real work done in it So marriage taught me, before you do anything, you need to sit down, read the manual. You need to do the real work it definitely taught me that. Don't jump into anything just because it looks good, smells good, shiny, tall, got a beard, all of that. Mm-mm.
Marriage,
Hey,
marriage taught me a lot. I could read the notebook off to you if you would like, but if I just had to pick one, I would say that marriage taught me It's gonna be a good one. Let me break it down so it can forever be broken. But marriage
Okay, all
taught
right,
me
I'm ready. I'm ready.
that if you cause insecurities within your relationship, make sure you fix them because the title and position won't fix it.
Play that again for the people in the back. Everybody didn't hear.
Okay. Let me see if I'm about 40. I gotta see if I can remember. But marriage
You know,
taught
I'm
me
54, so hurry up because I forgot the question.
marriage taught me that if you cause, and I say insecurities, but I say whatever problems you cause in the relationship, if you don't address them, if you don't fix them, then a title and position won't cure it. It won't fix it. And what I mean by that is that I'm gonna be vulnerable with y'all. When I got married, I was doing my crazy stages of how I thought. So back in the day, people know me. That's like, man, I'm not dating no plus size woman, or that ain't my stilo. Like, I don't want that. And so, lo and behold, I fell in love with a plus size woman. And she knew this prior to us getting into a relationship, getting married, et cetera, et cetera. So it caused insecurities within the relationship, and it caused insecurities within the marriage. And here's one thing that we do often in relationships. Too often we take pictures of people in the relationship, and we take emotional, spiritual, and physical pictures of people in the relationships, and we fall in love with that picture. But we haven't updated our technology and understand that you can use video recorders to show people growing and changing. So the image that my ex-wife had is that Kenny don't like plus size women. So she held on to that. And I was blinded by trying to do other things that I never addressed that
That's
issue.
that issue. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
I didn't bring her along to show that I did change, that I did
Thank
grow, that I did mature, that I did learn different things, and I chose you.
Wow.
So if you do not fix that, and I didn't fix that. So just because I gave her the white title and I gave her the position, it still didn't cure that.
Let me say this. I'm just going to go off script, if I will. I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to be in this moment with you, and you shared that with me personally because I was there, and the listeners. I commend you for getting to the point where you could say that out loud and you own that. And I just think that that's such a beautiful thing. I do.
I preached it.
I say we never bring it forward. We never have the conversation, despite the fact that we're doing all these things. But just like the words were said, I didn't like this. The words were never, you never said those words on the other side. It comes back. Well, I picked you. Well, you're my wife or you're my husband. I hate that thing. Well, I'm married to you, aren't I?
Right.
What? I'm your mom, aren't I? Okay, I'm your friend, and we default to the title as opposed to the actions that title should be responsible for. Taking back what you say, you should be responsible for moving it along so there's so much more respect for the person with the title. And then you won't have to really bring up, well, I'm your husband. Well, I married you. Well, you got this house or that type of thing. So I agree that it taught me that as well. I was on the other side of that. So I definitely get that.
And you definitely, as a person, you can't be so self-absorbed with yourself that you forgot some of the wounds and triggers and scars that you caused to your mate. And if here's my take on marriage and relationships is my take on relationships and marriage is that if I'm your priority and you're my priority, we're in a win-win situation. Like
Right.
I should never selfishly have to worry about me because you're taking care of me
Take care of me.
and I'm
Right.
taking care of you. And
Right.
so if we understand that concept, then I need to be so in tune with with my mate that I can hear in her voice when something is going on, or by the tone of her text, or when she answers the phone. I need to know what's going on. And so, I'm just gonna say me as a man, that's one thing that I did learn. Like, don't be so self-absorbed and think that your stuff don't stink. Like, you got some stuff you need to work on. So
I agree. I mean, I love the way that, yes, 100%. We sometimes with but that's that selfishness. We, like you said, we gave that selfless act, that love. We gave the love, but we're not giving it for the right reasons. It's all for selfish reasons that we're giving it. And of course, we want to reciprocate. We want the reciprocity. But like you said, if we tell ourselves that our mate is our priority, and we know that we are their priority, then it is it's like for every out, before you can put out, the in is coming back in. You can't, it's, like talk about, you overwhelming with all the God can pour out the blessings that you can't receive. That is so true in a relationship. That it's not so much the give and take as much as it's the reciprocation, the reciprocity, back and forth. I'm blessed to be familiar with that now. It took me a few minutes to get into, so I appreciate that.
Was marriage what you expected?
In it, no. Out of it, yes. And I'll be brief. In it, I was the wife. I mean, I'm just supposed to do for me and be for me and love me. I had the title. Okay. But we weren't doing any work. We just living in the building. We ain't put up nothing on the walls. We just in this house. But on the outside, it was exactly what I expected, because I got out of it exactly what I put into it. 100%. I might not have liked the end results, but there was no other result. If I continued doing what I was doing, there was no other result but the result that I had. The expectations was like, oops, yep, that's what happens. When you put salt in a cake, it looks like a cake, but it's a salty cake. That's exactly, just because it looks like a cake and it's beautiful, I use salt instead of sugar. So it doesn't matter how beautiful it looks. And I did all the preparation. I still baked it with salt. So when I saw that it was salt, there was only one expectation it should be. When I bite into this cake, it should taste salty. And it did. But while I was baking it, I was putting in the white granulated, substance. So it's supposed to be, I was doing the work, but I wasn't.
Hamburger. Was the marriage what I expected? It's one of the questions I didn't think about. Was it what I expected? Nah, it wasn't what I expected. Nah. But the only thing I really expected is that I truly thought it was going to be my happily ever after. And what I realized is that don't make that your end game. Like, it should not be your happily ever after. It should be a step in the right direction for your happily ever after. And so, and some people might say, well, you're saying the same things. Now, when you're on the path, that means you still got work to do. When you say that this is your happily ever after, that's your ending point. That's your stopping. That means that you ain't making no more goals, no more aspirations. When I get married, I still want to make a goal to be the best husband I can, or the best father, the best this, the best that. I still want to make goals. And I think, so no, it wasn't what I expected. No.
Yeah, it should be your happily along the way. Happy, because it's kind of like being a Christian. And, one of the things that Christians say, we'll get the glory on the other side. And it's like, I get, but it's a few glories I would like to have over on this side, because if the work is on at the end, then what are we doing here? Since nobody's running out to kill themselves and die. So obviously it's the same thing, with marriage, like it's the happily ever after. It should be the after. I guess the after should be happily ever after we say I do, and then we start doing. But we just stopped it and have on the books, happily ever after is the end. And you're right, that's not the end. Marriage is the beginning. So happily along the way. Yes, I agree. A lot of work.
Amen. Amen. What's a helpful tool or advice that you would give someone about marriage?
We always tell people to be honest, right? We always start, be honest with yourself, be honest. And I've learned that sometimes some people can't speak their honesty. They can't verbalize it. New word is transparency. Be as most transparent by living your greatest truth. And I think when you do that going into a relationship, people need to see sometimes some of the things you can't say. And the only way to do that is you have to be comfortable and vulnerable enough in yourself to allow that to be, because you picked this person. If you can't be vulnerable with this person, why is this person the person? This is the only person. So I would say to anybody that's getting ready to step out here, if you're not vulnerable, if you're not willing to maybe share, and we all have secrets, and that's the human part, that piece I'm not talking about. But you need to be as transparent as possible. And that means you need to be an open book. And granted, there are gonna be some pages that are, they've even highlighted. Some you probably blacked out, but that's fine. Still expose that, because those are the things, those are the places where when those things show up, that's when that's when it gets tight. Because it's so easy to be beautiful and cute and fun. And, oh, my mom, and we had this and growing up. No, so I think transparency. I would say that more than honest, because a lot of times, like I said, a lot of times we can't verbalize some of those things. It's hard. So if I had, you can allow yourself to be vulnerable to the person you have chose to be the one, you have a better chance of growing as a person, and they as well with you. And then you can make decisions on things that are open and truth and honest. You can't make the decisions on a lie.
Mm-hmm.
You make this lie, but then you have to make another decision, because once the lie becomes reveals itself, now you got to make another decision. But if you can make this decision on truth, pain is over. Once the hurt is over, you're on the other side of that. You never have to really deal with that again.
I think just some helpful advice that I would give somebody who's thinking about marriage, in a marriage, even if you're in a marriage, research what a husband and wife is, like the responsibilities that comes along with it. And two things. Number one, on the worst day, are you still willing and able to do those things on the worst day?
So let me ask you, Kenny. I'm gonna have to interrupt because I need to ask.
Okay.
What are you referring to, husband and wife? The biblical definition, the Webster Dictionary definition,
I'm saying for whatever individual, however you define it, however you look at it. My definition of my personal definition is the biblical definition on it, but I know everybody don't look at it that way and ain't trying to rock with it that way. So however an individual defines what a husband looks like or what a wife looks like, because it's so different from everybody, because some people look at marriage as a partnership or roommates or just a way to come up, or however they look at it. So however you look at it, I just say whatever those responsibilities look like, are you willing to do it? And I
like
think
that.
The second part about that is just, I just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I just go with that one.
I like that, because when your mate offends you or belittles, degrades you, can you still do that what you call as a wife? Be that from cook, sex, kids, finances, whatever that's. Can you still do your
And then let's break it down here. Can you do it like you like them, not like you love them?
Woo. Okay, this podcast is ended. Cause baby, did you just say whoop? Cause refer back to the first question. The first like and love. Absolutely.
Because too many times, like when we do things for the people that we love, we do it out of obligation.
Yes, begrudgingly.
Right.
Ooh, yes.
So when we
Yes.
like somebody, we doing it free-hearted, free will. Like we
Yes.
put that
Yes. We
extra
can.
sauce on it.
Yes. When we love, we just love. You throw the plate down, hand it for here, dinner. Ooh, yes. Ooh.
And then I got to throw this bonus one in, and I'm gonna let you tell me what your thoughts about it. I would say the second one is, if you're about to get married to somebody, I want you to look at them. And if they were never to change who they are from that day, would you want to spend 20 years with them?
Now. I went two different ways in that, because often we marry a superficial thing, and that superficial thing is what we see. So we don't want that to ever change. We want that look, that financial situation. We want that to maintain. But if we're honest and consider to request that of you, Kenny, then that means I'm willing to do that too. And I mean, I'm willing. I know I'm going to have to change. So the honesty is that I have to be able to accept you change. That is going to be that. I think that's a question that the minister, the justice of the peace, should ask. This person that you're looking at, look at them. They're beautiful. They're handsome. They're everything you want in a person aesthetically. They're everything you want with a person where they're in their position in life. Can you say that you'll still want to be with this person if that which they are never changes, or that it drastically changes? Can you say that you will still say, I do? I don't know if we can really answer that, because what it look like. Some people can't, off top, if you gain weight, off top, if you lose your job, off top, if your health goes down, those are things that we don't factor in, because we all cute and young, and life is good when you get married. We don't factor in any of those. So
and I think some of the questions that I'm talking about, if they never change, like if they never stop being mean, or if they like some of those flaws and some of those good characteristics, because sometimes some of the things that we fall in love with a person by, when we get with them, we don't like it no more.
So let me ask you, do you think that, like, taking those flaws, so for you to say that means that people are marrying with things in the negative column, that they don't like, and because we start off with the like, and are you with extending this, that we're saying in our mind, once I get with Kenny, are we gonna get that? He gonna stop that cursing, or he's gonna, that gambling. Okay, yeah, he's a good man, but he's gonna stop that gambling. I don't think we would marry, because, and I say that specifically as a woman, I don't think we would. I really don't, because so often for women, all the red flags are there, but we have told ourselves somewhere along the line, we were playing with the Barbie dolls, that my existence in his life is going to change him to cater to what I want. When we don't have those conversations first on, we overlook them. And so I think sometimes for men, you're like, okay, well, you accept me watching ball. You accept me being cursing, smoking, hanging out. You accepted that. So that's why I think that change is so much more difficult for guys, because women accept them, and guys y'all don't move in that same energy. And I think for women, it becomes physicalities more of the change. I think it's everything else for the guys. So I think that's a good question. I don't know anybody getting married, but I'm gonna ask that if I see somebody out there.
But I mean, I ask people that, if you're gonna get in a relationship, like, don't wait to marriage to ask that question. A relationship, like, I think we're just not in tune with the people that we date, or the people that we get these relationships with. So We overlook the red flags, or we overlook the green flags, and think we call the green flags red flags. So it just depends on, where you're at.
Right.
So let's talk about this this D word, divorce. How was that divorce process for you?
Disrespectful.
Mm.
And that's having done it twice. First one was a breeze, in, out. Second one was difficult. But the one thing that I think I did do, even though I say disrespectful, I'm just saying that from the lightheartedness. I respected the process. And I think that that's the success of a divorce. The divorce, you have to respect the process. And you have to understand as much of you that you're bringing, that I brought, that I to the table that's now being reversed or null and void, so is the other person. And I had to give my ex-husband as much respect of him not wanting the process as I wanted the process. So it's two different people fighting against the same problem, wanting this different results. So it was not easy. I wanted it and he did not. So I was fighting against a force that, was going against something I wanted. And he, vice versa, he was doing the same thing. So it took a minute for me to pull away and I had to apologize. I owned my part. I think that's also a thing in divorce. Own your part. It's not about, how can I say this? If there's no children involved and you all are going to go separate ways, does it really matter what he says about you? Does it really matter what she said? I mean, realistically, because ideally you're hoping that you get ready to part ways and his life is over here and your life, and you never see each other again, you never cross paths. We're not in the media. We're not looking on TMZ. That's the first thing. Second, if there's children, if you can accept your part, then when your children come to you and ask you that question, you can say, "You do that. Yeah, daddy did that." It takes some of the sting out, but we're spending more time trying to save face in the eyes of who? The person we're divorcing?
Yeah, you talking about some mature stuff right there. You know what
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I feel you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's we had to talk about that a little later. We're gonna have to talk about that on the episode of Strictly Divorce, because
yeah.
okay, the process, let me gather myself. The process of divorce, it was a mourning process. It was definitely it when I say so many adjectives I could use to describe it, like I would need a dictionary, a thesaurus, or to say how, because I think daily, weekly, monthly, it was a different emotion that I went through. But it was one of the most difficult things that I went through. Yeah, it took a lot out of me. So that process was long. I feel like it was unnecessary on some aspects. I feel like I
When
think
I also said disrespectful, it's a process that is telling two people that made a decision to come in and two people make a decision to go out, how they are supposed to do something that is so emotionally entwined. You got so many emotions and it's telling you, okay, sign right here. You do this right here. It's cold. It doesn't leave room for the emotions. So a lot of times you have those by yourself because they can't go to court. You can't say them against your mate anymore because I don't care. They don't care about your hurt. They don't care about you, man. They don't care that so you've got to bottle all, you got all this stuff bottled, you got to keep it in. Because when you go to court, when you go talk to your attorney, go talk to the mediator, you've got to pick your words now, pick your emotions, because if anybody feels any kind of fear, flare, or they're coming for you either way, oh, he's abusive, or oh my gosh, she's trying to take me. So you're like, I can't even I can't even talk. And you're looking at a person and they're not telling the truth. And you're like, this is not the truth, but it's their truth. Because that's the truth that they need to tell to get what they're trying. It's just disrespectful.
I
It's,
think the crazy part about it is that the system feeds off of our emotions.
it does. And and I'm a woman, and we had this talk, women, because the way the world was set up with women being the lesser, lesser sex and the weaker sex and the dot, and then the world changed and women are, but we still have that, we still have those emotions where we can pull from. He took everything from me and he left me and, blah, blah. So it's disrespectful. It is not, it's like we need to update it. What's going to current. We can't let those rules and laws that were on the books of yesteryear divorce us into that. It's just.
So you said the process was disrespectful. How did that make you feel?
Defeated, because I couldn't, my how I felt didn't matter. It did not matter how I felt. What brought me to this moment. It really didn't matter about what brought me to this moment. It was about what are you going to do in this moment so we can get this process over. It does not, if without, remove, because there was no abuse. Of course, in my case, there was infidelity, but okay, well, infidelity, okay, you want to talk about it? He says no. So it was like, okay, we got to do something else. What? So now I got to prove what? Okay, I just told you what happened. Just not enough on the books. Okay, well, you got to have proof that took place because he says no. What? So now I've got to, now other people, other situations to present. What? And so it was just, I felt many days so defeated. I just wanted to, I actually said, you know what? I don't want any money. Just sign on the dotted line. Please just let me have my freedom. I can't imagine what it's like being in prison when your time is coming up. Please just let me go. Okay, please just let me go. I was exhausted by the end. Exhausted. I couldn't even celebrate. I was so tired. It was mentally draining. So I don't wish it on anybody.
How did it make me feel? Man, like a wide range of emotions. But I think when it was all over, I truly felt like Will Smith did at the end of Pursuit of Happiness when he got the job. And he went outside and he just started clapping. He started crying and he went to go get his son. Like, those are the things that I did after my divorce got finalized, because there was two things that were consistent. There were two people that were consistent in my life during the divorce process. And that's Kennedy and Kirsten. Like, they loved me on the good days, they loved me on the bad days, they encouraged me. Like, the stories that I could tell you about, my girls and what they did, it was just like we did it. And I think it's not a slight on, my ex-wife or anything, but it was just like, the system makes you fight against the other person.
It does.
And I think well, I say that to the next one. I say that for the next question.
Okay.
But the system really puts you against each other. Like,
it does. That's how it's fueled. It pits you against this person. His was interesting. But then they're wanting you to have this, when you have children, then they want you to have this acrimonious relationship. After we've cut each other and throw each other and beat each other and curse each other out to the point where you're looking at your child trying to see how can you change their DNA. But now when it's over, they're wanting you to play nice. What? You didn't give me a form where the emotions were able to be respected so that playing nice could be something we would want to do. Instead, you made it so that we had so much vim in our heart for this other person. And now we you want us to play nice because you have kids, you have to play nice. But you're like, wow, it's disrespectful. That's just
That's your word. That's your word. But
well, yeah,
I think the divorce and the divorce process is, I mean, it's just interesting. And I think that so many people are even worse off after the divorce and after that process than they did before, because
yes,
I like in my divorce, this is just my divorce and my perspective on it, that I could be wrong. Somebody tell me if I am. But when you have somebody who wants to inflict the pain that they think that you inflicted on them because you wanted the divorce, then they're making your life a living hell during that process, and you're looking like, why? Well, like, what are we doing this for? Like, is it that serious? Because here's the kicker, and you just made mention of it. But in one instance, I can say that you're nothing as a man, you're nothing as a husband, you wasn't nothing or nothing. But then I want you to take care of the children. I want to trust you with the kids or do all this, and it's like that don't even
what?
make sense.
Right,
Like
right.
what are we doing? That's why they have two different court systems, because one for family court that you go hear a different judge to talk about what y'all gonna do with the kids, and then one that you talking about what y'all gonna do as husband and wife. Like, what are we doing? But what is, or is there any misconceptions about divorce?
That
Divorce
you,
or marriage? Divorce or marriage? Let me say that. What is a
I'll say real for divorces and marriage, but both of them, it's the same in both. That you're going to be happy, and that you're going to be miserable. And you can place those in both.
right?
People get married, think they're going to be happy, and it's going to, and you're miserable. Some people get divorced and think, oh my God, I'm going to be single. And, I got these kids. And it's the happiest time you've ever been. And I think that the misconception that there is no one size fits all. It truly is. Where you are in your life at that time determines the results that you get in the marriage or in the end of the marriage. Where you are, if you're not where you need to be mentally or emotionally and socially and physically and spiritually, and either one of those, you're going to deal with a shitload of situations. But if everything lines up, if you're in a good place with yourself, divorce is not as bad as you think. And to me, divorce is only what happens when he says the marriage is over. Then it's not you're divorced, ED. You never have to be that again. You never have to attach yourself to divorce again. One of the misconceptions, once you divorce, that you're always divorced. No. Once you're divorced, you're now single. You don't have to be divorced for the rest of your life.
Facts on facts.
See, single allows you to start over. Divorce keeps you attached to what was. Single moves you forward, takes you back. But anyway.
Yeah, that's why people saying that they still divorced, because they ain't want to move over. But I ain't
They
doing
want to
gossip,
move.
so you ain't heard it from me.
Absolutely. Yes. You said it. I heard
Yes,
it.
So I would say a misconception about marriage, or divorce, or marriage and divorce, is that I was listening to a old Breakfast Club interview, Dr. Umar Johnson. He said that marriage is nothing but a contract that you have with somebody. And he was like, no, marriage is about love. It's about this. It's about the relationship. And he was like, well, if it's not a legal contract, or it's not a binding contract that you have with somebody, he said, why do, when people go to court, you never hear somebody say, I want half of my love back, or I want half of my joy back, I want half of my peace back. They saying, I want half of my land back, my money back, my retirement, all these financial things that they saying they want. And they said, so where they do that at? So how is it not a contract? or a mutual agreement that you have with somebody.
I'm sorry, I had to go get something. I agree. But I think it's all about what's your thought process is about marriage, like you started this off with. What do you view marriage? So many people go to marriage spiritual, religious, because that's the only thing that they know, but they have no respect for what that really is. So they immediately go back to that while you're in the marriage. Then when it's over, they go to the, because you can't reverse how much you hurt me. I have to put a dollar amount on that. You cheated on me. There's no money for that. There's no money for cheating. I still live in the same house. I got the car. So it's like, I have to hurt you with that. So oftentimes, again, this same society that we're talking about attach tangible things to an intangible situation, emotions. You can't attach. There's no dollar amount to your person cheating. There's no dollar amount to your person getting sick. There just isn't. But we live in a bar. That's the only thing that we have to, how can we substantiate, compensate? That's the only way we get compensation, is a financial compensation. Because if you could reverse the pain that someone has given you, pain with joy, realistically, we would take it, because money does not remove that. It just doesn't. It just helps you do something in the place of it. So I don't know.
So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, then we're gonna do rapid fire, and then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here.
Okay.
So what is a helpful tool or some advice that you would give someone about going through the process of a divorce?
I go back to my word. My disrespect is respect the process. Just like getting married, you've got to go through all these many different stages to get married. You got to pick the venue, you got to pick the people, and all those emotions. If you can say those emotions in reverse, you've got, because that in order for the divorce to be successful for you, you've got to kind of reverse some of those emotions. Meaning, how you were excited about going in, you need to stand and be strong and be excited about coming all out. And sometimes that's hard, because now you're attached to what's in. You've got to respect that the process does not care about how you feel. So you've got to have people. You need to have somebody, like you said, you had your girls. I had my daughter. You got to have somebody that you can lay those emotions on, those feelings on, because you're getting ready to divorce the only other person that you gave all your emotions to. So you need not go through divorce by yourself. If it's a spiritual group, it's a divorce group. If you got a running group, something that allows your mind to go over here, because it's a lot of dark days. Divorce brings a lot of dark days, a lot of long nights, a lot of sleepless nights. I also say, take care of yourself. You'll forget about yourself during divorce. You know what I'm saying? Go get your wig tight. Go run. If that's what you do. If you read, you could take yourself, because your heart won't let anything else survive. And so I have to say up top, take care of yourself. You have to. All the prepping you did to get married, you need to do all that prepping to be divorced as well.
I'm going to piggyback on what you said as far as just take care of yourself, but I'm going to piggyback on that, but I'm also just going to challenge people to, will you be committed to your vows on a bad day, on a rainy day? And what I mean by that is that so often we love people, or we love the person that we were married to on a sunny day. Can you love them on a rainy day? Because too often when we're in the divorce and we're in the process, it's every man for themselves. So my challenge is, and it's difficult, it takes a healed, mature individual to do this, but can I not fight the person that I'm divorcing?
Can you love them? Although you might not like them, can you love them at the at the at the least point, at the greatest point of the least value, or the least value at the greatest point, can you love them?
Yep.
Can you love them having had loved them, having loved them? Oh my goodness, I messed that up. You know what? And you know what? I can honestly say, I found a true love for my exes because I could only imagine what it feels like for somebody that you want that does not want you anymore. What that feels like. And they are fighting you for you not to want them anymore. I can honestly say I've never really experienced that. It's not a bragging thing. I haven't. Once people say they don't want to be with me, as deuces, I'm out. I don't carry that energy like that. But I do know what it feels like for somebody that you care about to leave you, just to leave. In my case, people have died. And you're just like, oh my God, I didn't want you to do that. And so you're fighting against this force that's greater than the force of them to stay. The force of them leaving is greater. So I found that love and respect for that. And I was able to tell him that, he didn't want to hear it, but that wasn't about, that was what that was. But anyway, I digress.
So we're going to let you have the final words before we do rapid fire. So any partying shots you want to give us as far as with love, marriage, and divorce?
What? It's worth it. It's worth it. To say I don't want to get married because I don't want to get divorced, to me is equal to say, I don't want to be born because I don't want to die. So since of course, marriage is a choice, unlike, life isn't, you can't pick that. But it's worth it. If nothing else, it's an experience. It allows you to, if you're honest with yourself, it allows you to learn a bit more about yourself and how you show up in other people's lives. And if you have had several relationships and you're like, nobody wants to marry me, there's a common denominator in that. It might be you. We all owe ourselves self-evaluation, self-accountability, self-inventory. You need to do that and take care of yourself during the process. And if you find, I'm sorry, you all, I'm menopausal, so I'm having, but if you find yourself facing divorce, face it like a big girl, face it like a big boy, face it, own it. And if the other person is the one who wants to divorce, give them their freedom. Don't fight that. Just do the legal parts of it, the house, children, things that have to be, but don't fight them. That's a fight. When somebody doesn't want to be with you, that's a fight you're not going to win. And if you're the person that wants to leave, you don't have to belittle the other person because you don't want them anymore, no matter what they did to you. This side of them physically harming you, have to hurt them. You don't. You're leaving them is hurting them. You don't have to go through all that. Don't talk about the children and the mom and the kid. It's not necessary. It only keeps you in the drama. And if you're trying to get out of it, be a minimalist. Say little, do minimal as possible to get the results that you want. So, and love yourself through it all, and find others that love you when you can't love yourself.
So now we're going to do rapid fire. Rapid fire is we're just going to ask you 5 questions and just first thing that come to mind.
Okay, let's go.
First question, love.
Necessary.
Marriage.
Challenging.
You say what?
Challenging. It's a challenge.
Oh, challenging. I thought you said allergy. I said, oh, okay.
Well, you can be allergic to it depending on who you married
to. Divorce.
I want to use my word disrespectful, but that was mine. So eye-opening, revealing.
Let's go with commitment.
Every day.
I like that. And the last one, a misconception about Miss Jan.
That I don't hurt. I love to joke. I love to laugh. And Kenny will tell you that I got my little sayings and quips that I do, but I do hurt. I just don't always cry. But the misconception is that I don't feel pain. And I do. I've experienced it on the greatest levels, but it doesn't define me. It's just a scar, and I'm able to, if God lets me breathe again, I take advantage of those breaths. I figure if I waste these breaths on what happened yesterday, I might miss out on tomorrow. And so if I keep breathing on today and do it right, I might get a tomorrow. And I can get a chance to just remember yesterday. So I think the greatest misconception is that I don't hurt. And I do. I smile through it, but I do.
Amen. Well, we thank you for blessing the podcast, and we definitely look forward to having you on another episode, dropping them gems, them wisdoms, that knowledge that you blessed us with. So we
I love you. I love everything about you. And I've loved you, we're going on 20 years, 20 some years or whatever.
20 some. I'm a young 20.
Yes, I am too. And I'm so grateful. And I'm honored that you trust me with your baby. I've already loved on your other babies, K2 and K3, but this is K4. And you never cease to amaze me, and you always find me and include me. And I made you my son, even though I'm not technically old enough to be your mother. But nonetheless, you have held on to that position. And I'm so grateful for this platform that, I had something to say that you wanted to share with your people.
And I'll just say this, going through life, you really realize when God blesses you with something. And no matter what, just the type of person that I am, if God blessed me with something, because I know how hard it is to be blessed with something, I'm going to hold on to that like a dear life. So, you are my Miss Jan, a true blessing from God that I'm thankful for. So, I love you much, and thank you for blessing the podcast.
All right. Well, thank you. And it was so much fun. It was.
Thank you.